Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Reality Realness with 3 S's. I'm your host here, Chantele. I can't even say my last name. Francis. And we have almost a full house today. We have Phil up top. How are you doing tonight, Phil?
Good, I'm back. It's been a long time.
Since the premiere. It's been a long time. We get to go and take a look and see how your draft is doing. Just saying. And we have Jojo underneath. He's on day 17 in Survivor. Have you eaten?
Just my Coca-Cola, zero sugar.
Man, Jojo, you're going to waste away. And then, of course, we have Jonathan. How are you doing, Jonathan?
Hello. I'm good. Very good, thank you.
That's good that you're good. So, well, Phil, we haven't talked to you in a while. So can we just get a little bit of an update of how you're feeling about this season, how it's going? Just a little preview of your thoughts.
Honestly, I feel like one episode I'm like, this is great. And then the next episode I'm like, sucky episode. I really like going up and down. It's highs and lows. I like the cast. I don't know about all the I don't know. I don't like all the production. I thought I did at first, and now I'm like, I'm over it. Like, I'm over the puzzles. That now they can't even hide anywhere else but at tribal council, it seems. It's like, okay, so we know what it's
last time it was under the water, though. So okay, so speaking of that puzzle, let's just get right to that puzzle. And somebody I can't even tell what it is. I took a picture of it. I know I did. I must have. Did you figure it out, Jonathan?
You know what? Didn't see it this week. Wasn't interested in rewinding and checking it out. I was like, didn't like the episode all that much, so no. I didn't even bother.
I saw it. I mean, I'm not even looking.
This is the best picture that I can get of it.
Okay, let me figure it out. I can't fully see it, but it looks like
that's how it looks, though. It's like you can't even make it any better.
I don't know what that is. Looks like a mermaid.
Is that a whale?
A crab or something? And an
information.
Is
it a tree stump?
Eye stick.
Oh,
eye stick.
Can you just tell us what you think the images are, and then
I don't know I actually don't know what I think the images are.
Oh,
I can't tell what the first thing is.
Is it like someone riding a bicycle?
A duck in the water?
Is it a whale?
Loch Ness.
Was that a tree stump? Was it the fucking stick? And is the palm tree part of it?
I didn't even notice the palm tree.
I mean, it's just so bad.
It's so bad. Like, the graphics need to get clear, I've never looked at one of those before and been like, I don't know what that image is. It's more about trying to piece it together and working out what you would call it, because there's usually several names for things, not trying to decipher what the actual image is, though. So it's poorly done.
We couldn't figure out what the coal was last week.
True.
Remember?
True.
I have no idea what that is.
Well, this is something minus a stump or a tree or a trunk. So what's the Survivor saying? It's so dumb. Why can't they make it normal?
It looks like what? I don't know what that is. It looks like a hermit crab or something. I don't.
Do we have any friends in the chat yet? No. Somebody come and save us. What is this?
It's like dash that other thing, so it's like minus something, or
yeah. And then I stick palm tree.
I branch like tree.
I stick palm. I stick. I don't know. It's so bad. Why can't they make them good? See, Sophie's here. So Sophie, how are you doing today? Were you able to figure out what this is? Sophie. Or you guys, obviously.
I still don't know what that first image is.
It's just so weird. Why can't they be legible? Or I don't know if it would be called legible if it's a picture, but visible. I don't know what this is. Okay, well, hopefully somebody Natalie will come into the chat and she'll
Okay, I looked it up, but I know what it is. So
do we want to be told?
Do you want to tell us what the images are at least that we should like guess it off of? Yeah.
Okay, so it was the first part is a fruit.
What?
Says it's fruit. Then it's minus the root.
Okay. Fruit.
Then so fruit minus
F.
root with the F plus an I.
F-I.
Then nail.
Final.
Final
palm tree.
Keep thinking. Final. What is that last?
Final three.
Final three.
That's actually infuriating because, like, that's not a 3. That's a tree.
Well, I mean, it looked like a duck to me when you held it up. I don't even know what that is.
The fruit. I mean, that's fruit. How is that fruit?
But like all of that to get to an F. You know what I mean? Like you couldn't do something else with the F.
I mean, I guess we could have maybe figured out root eventually, but it doesn't look like fruit to me. Oh, yes, it does. Okay, hold on. Okay, like the piece in the front, that's like an apple slice or something. Right?
It looks like a person riding a whale.
And the piece
like
of still life.
A still life image of like
Thanksgiving dinner or something. But
it's like a cornucopia of like it's like a pear. But it's not good. And then why are we spelling out words though and then not making tree? Tree is not 3. It's very different.
It's Mad Gab. Ever play that game?
Oh boy.
Unless you're trying to get to the final tree.
Maybe.
That's where the next advantage is.
Maybe it's like say it with an accent.
Yeah, the breakfast.
Well, maybe it's like with a Jamaican accent. So final tree.
That's it. Yeah. You got it.
They're being more diverse this year, maybe.
The final tree. Okay. So my mom's from Jamaica, so I'm allowed to make fun of this accent. Okay. Well, thank you, Phil. I'm happy that you told me what that was because I would never have figured it out on my own. And like it's difficult because it's bad. Like it's not difficult because it's like challenge. Ooh, it's like it's not good. So they need to rethink this because I don't mind this element of it, but like, can it just be good? Anyways. So we get to the beginning of this episode and you see Deshaun pretty pissed in the night camera after Tribal talking to Heather. He's talking about it was messy and he was upset. So we've been talking a lot about people not really being able to manage their emotions. So Jonathan, what were you thinking about how Deshaun handled the after Tribal moments?
I thought, it depends on how he wants to proceed. Now, if he wants to work with Shan, then that's maybe not it. But it's like if you could use it against her and then just kind of like not say a lot, but kind of just bring it up to other people, that kind of behavior, or how you don't like being whatever the case may be. But I think he was just being honest and emotional, as most of them are after Tribal, I think, and we just don't often necessarily see that. But yeah, I mean, it was putting himself out there, and but with the way Shan's been for a while, I mean, it's infuriating and it continues. So I don't know that people can hide their initial reactions or emotions to how things are happening. So
100%. We're definitely going to be getting into the Shan of it all. So Deshaun also complains to Danny, and he's saying that nobody spoke up. Like when Shan was deciding that he wants to flip it to Heather, and Deshaun does not want it to be Heather that goes out like ever. Heather's going to the end. Like we know that. And that's like her position is to be either final 4 or final 3, depending on what happens. And so the fact that nobody said anything just was allowing Shan to call the shots, Deshaun was pissed. So do you think, Jojo, that Danny should have said something in that moment? Like, how do you think of Deshaun's irritation with everybody else and not having any pushback?
I think Danny is an incredibly loyal player and wants to play that way and is going to be honest with people. And I do think he wants to work with Deshaun, Shan, and Liana. So I don't necessarily think Danny's going to want Deshaun to be jumping ship or to be talking about it. His eyebrows raised a couple of times during the last episode. We won't get into it yet. But I think it's really smart of Deshawn to play the middle. But at the same time, let Shan make the big moves now so that you can take her out later. Really easy to say, she's done all this. How about the 5 of us vote her out?
The problem is though, Shan is kind of targeting his people, like his numbers. So Sydney, like, I mean, it wasn't directly hers. He was kind of saving himself, but like letting Sydney go, that sucks. Erica, not a great ally for him. Heather, though, is a great ally for him. And so the fact that, like, you know, having one of his numbers just be like someone just to take out without him wanting that to be the way that it goes, I definitely understood why he was irritated. But then Shan is also pissed off with Deshawn having a reaction to her. So Jojo, or so Phil, how do you feel about Shan venting to Nasir and Liana and Danny and Ricard, calling Deshawn immature? She's definitely having a reaction.
Yeah, very emotional cast. I agree with Jonathan. Like it's a little interesting to watch because it's not really the smartest of gameplays because, you know, you're giving people a lot of those options of, well, you know what I heard, like from this person, they were talking about you, and, you know, you get them on that right moment, they start going, I don't want to work with that person anymore. I don't know. I mean, Shan I was a big Shan fan. I was very excited. And then the last couple of weeks, I'm just like, wow, you're really playing too hard. Like it just felt like too much. So I don't know. I think she's making a mistake if she's getting upset with people for doing the same thing that she's doing.
100%. And you know, Deshawn is venting even to Evie, who is, you know, Shan's number one target at this point. And so Deshawn feels that Shan is a bulldozer and just is trying to like always have her agenda be the one that's being executed. And she, I guess how she pushes it is in a way that I'm just like, I'd be like, no. We're not going to respond in this way. If we might come to this conclusion still, but we need to not be reacting. And so like, okay, yeah, we're flipping into Heather. Okay, Heather, we're doing Heather. And it's like, no. But I would be like, you get to chill. Go ahead.
I feel like she had that moment, like, weren't they on the beach, her and Deshawn, and talking about like stuff, and then it was like normal for like a half second, and she went right into, but I think we need to get the, you know, and it was like, and you just see a look on his face. She's just not getting it. And you can't, just in life, I've had interactions with people like that where they just don't get what you're saying to them. And so how do you deal with that? How do you, when you've said it several times, had a blow up or two about it, and the person's like, got it, understood. So anyway, so I really think we need to get Heather or Erica out because, and you're like, calm down. That's, I think I can see that frustration in those moments. And, we saw that when, you know, in the beginning of this episode.
And it's the same thing that she's doing with Ricard. Like Ricard's getting that same thing. Like she's doing the exact, like he's like, okay, like let's like talk together. Don't tell me what to do. So she's got a problem with that. People might start talking, like she talks too much.
Well, I do feel though that Ricard has a better handle on managing her, to be fair. And I always go back to people's astrology signs, but most of the people in this cast are water and earth, so they are going to react in a more emotional way than fire and air do. And Ricard is air. I'm sorry, is fire. So he's Sagittarius. Nasir Sagittarius, and then everybody. Oh, and Xander is a Leo, so fire. So everybody else is either water or earth, which means it's emotional. And that's kind of how they feel more comfortable. So that's, I think, why we're just seeing so messy without the actual gameplay. Just everybody's just so water and earthy. Mm-hmm. So water and earthy. So we also have some friends joining us. So Adrian's here. Adrian says, yeah, not a great episode for Shan and Liana. Yeah, not so much.
I disagree.
You can, Jojo, I cannot allow you to say that Liana or Shan had a good episode this episode.
They are still in the game. They're in the final 8. I am rooting for Shan and Liana. I want them final 2. I don't care. That's it. I mean, it's official.
Wishful thinking.
I think that they left really good at the end of this episode, in the sense that like the people that they're working with are all there still. Like their numbers are still there.
Those numbers are, but I think that Liana's rubbed people the wrong way, especially Xander with her just fixation on getting him out of the game. And I think that because Xander's going to use his idol eventually, right? And if that's the case, I do feel like Liana would be the recipient of that vote, and she'll be voting out for, like, I think that she's going to be voted out by the hands of Xander. So yeah, she's still in the game, but like she ruined, I think, a little bit of her trust with who did she throw out there? Was it Danny or Deshaun?
Deshaun.
You don't throw out Deshaun's name when Xander's going to come back. Like, even if he didn't act on it, he has that information. I'd just be like, okay, I clocked that.
He also stated that he wasn't sure if he could believe what Xander was saying. Even though Liana did do that, he said, I'm not sure if I can trust Xander with that. So
although, like, and Shan, I as messy as she's being and emotional, all that stuff, she wasn't in trouble of going. So I mean, that says something. If you're on a small, it was 1 in 4 chance of leaving, and your name's not even on the table, really. I mean, you're doing something right. So
I think it's also the fear of that idol, right? Especially when you get down to small tribes. Anybody playing an idol means that it's more Russian roulette with who goes home. So it's very risky to be targeting somebody that has an idol, because you could be the recipient of like.
But it did happen. It did happen. Someone did go with an idol.
So Adrian says, let's be real, this top 8 hasn't been playing a perfect game up to this point, but at least they're giving what they're trying to give in this merge. Such a fire 8 right there. Yeah, I think that, like, I do like this 8, but when I was talking with Phil beforehand, we kind of were like, we're not fully rooting for anybody. Like, yes, I was rooting more for Shan and Liana beforehand, but their gameplay, I can't get behind it sometimes. I'm just like, oh, like you're in a pretty good position. Like, just neaten it up a little bit, and then I can really root for you. But other than that, other than Shan and Ricard, I don't think there's anybody that I'm rooting that hard for.
Yeah, I'm open. I'm completely open to whoever wins right now, and I hope somebody really impresses me. I was getting emotionally attached to Nasir, but I also feel like we didn't really get to know him as much as we probably could have. So I think his story sounded very interesting, and I wish that they focused on it more, but maybe he didn't talk about it.
Fair.
I'm all about the edit, and I thought overall in this episode, it was really interesting. 2 things. Xander, I felt, has agency for once. Like, I felt like he has, whereas like before there was just none and he was just surviving. And now I felt, I'm like, people are coming to you with things. People are, you have an opinion that could go, and that really can sway certain things. So I thought that was really interesting. The other part was, which we'll probably get to later, but it's Ricard's like superhero edit. Like, I felt like they were like doing his like super hearing out of, because he can't hear properly out of one, ear, is deaf fully. It just, and yet the editing was really weird, and it made him sound like almost like superhuman, that he was able to accomplish reading people's lips and things like that. So I was wondering what that was about, because a lot does go on. So the edits are really tight, I feel like, and if they're giving some time towards something, I feel like it means something more so now than ever. And yeah, I was just interested to see how that plays out over the next few episodes.
Yeah, I liked seeing that edit though. Just like it was, showing the close up on the lips and like kind of a sound quality that would, I would say, I assume, emulate what he's experienced when he's hearing just sound from on one side. So I thought that was interesting to kind of give his perspective on how he reads the game, literally. But I do wonder, like you, Jonathan, like if this is going to mean more down the road. Like, why are they presenting this to us now? Is it because he's going to read lips and find out about a plan, or is he not going to recognize something that's happening from just the proximity where people are discussing information?
We've already had a deaf or really hard of hearing contestant before in the past with, what was her name? Christy.
Yeah, Christy. And then there was another lady on Worlds Apart. She didn't last very long, but she was on it. She was an older lady.
Yeah, so I'm like, we've already had that storyline, so it's interesting how it's a different kind of take on it, and I wonder if they're doing it for a reason. So we'll see.
Yeah.
Very curious. So, oh, sorry, I did that one already. I meant Jessica. Hi, Jessica. How are you? So Shannon's doing way too much. She needs to let other have their way sometimes. She's not self-aware. It's very interesting though, because she is kind of self-aware, but even in her confessional, she's like, well, I'll pretend like I'm listening and then I won't listen to them at all. I'll do what I want. And it's kind of like, so she's aware that she needs to allow people to get their way a little bit, but then she's also not allowing them to get their way a little bit. So it's very interesting how she doesn't kind of take her own advice. I can see it biting her. I mean, I know that you're pretty strong on her right now, Jojo. And I did really find the beginning of this conversation with Deshawn. So they're sitting on the beach. They're having a bit of a heart to heart. Deshawn is apologizing for how he reacted. She's responding and apologizing as well. And then, like Jonathan says, she immediately switches to game mode. And it's just kind of like, can we just like figure out our communication styles better? Like, can you read that it's not the time to bring up who we're voting out now? And she wants to vote out Erica and Heather, two people that are from his original Blue tribe. So I understand why he wouldn't.
Again, this conversation, you mentioned it last week, but again, this conversation was being had prior to the immunity challenge. And that's something that you noticed and mentioned last week. So I'm like, why are we doing this again?
I will say though, at least Shan, when she says stuff, like it does make sense. Like a lot of them are like, we should go after Xander, and like, but you know he has an idol, so like you need to have a backup plan. Like you need to pick somebody else to go for. So at least like she's like trying to push it into another direction, but she should also be saying, and we need to trick Xander and get his idol. Like
they all need to be tricking Xander, but I think the problem is that everybody's worried that I think Shan is worried that if people with the idols are gone or being targeted because they have an idol, people will then maybe want to target her. So I think that she's just kind of like keeping his name and reasons to target him out of her mouth because she doesn't want to give people the idea to target her. That's what I'm thinking, but she hasn't really said that, I don't think.
Yeah, I agree.
Jojo, are you cold?
I got cold.
I'm
It's
sorry.
cold on that
they don't
island,
have those
but-
jackets. They don't have those jackets on the beach.
You got an outfit change. You got that approved by wardrobe, by production.
Can I wear this? Oh shit.
So Adrian says, "Oh my god." Okay, my opinion. Yeah, Shannon's been playing kind of strategic. As of now, it's so messy that why not take her to the final three as kind of a power goat? It would be too risky to take her to final three. She could pull out a win. So yeah, it would be a risky move for her to do that because she is more likable still, I think, than most people.
Yeah, Shan can always just, sit there and say, I've been playing aggressive. I'm aware that it's messy. This is what I wanted to see in Survivor this season. A black woman doing this. Here you go. And there's your $1 million.
Yeah.
And I did this and this and this. And yeah.
Oh, I still think if Shan makes it to the end, like right now, she has it. Like it's her game to lose still.
Yeah, she definitely has this game.
Everything. Yeah.
Right now. So Adrian says, same Jojo. I'm still having hope for the two. I don't have hope for Liana. I have more hope for Shan for sure. But it's the journey to the end that's going to be hard to get through. I mean, they're at final 8, so they're pretty close.
Yeah.
Liana's got to do something though, because like I wouldn't give her the vote right now.
No,
like I mean, she's done more bad moves than probably anybody else. So
Adrian says, and it's astounding to me that people that talked about weakening Shan hasn't actually gotten the balls to take her out instead. Well, I do think she did get weakened this episode a little bit. So we'll talk about that shortly while I catch up on these comments. So Chrissy from season 6 and Nina from Worlds Apart are the only hard of hearing contestants. Thank you, Adrian. And post-merge, Shan is not playing a great game. It's true. It's true. Once again, somebody give her food. She needs food, guys. She needs food. She wants to be in control all the time, and that is a problem. Absolutely. And she needs to be a little bit more flexible. She needs to let the plan happen in front of her and be steering it in the background without being so in your face, this is what we're doing, because people don't like feeling as though they're not making a decision on their own. And even Deshaun said it this episode, he's like, if we're voting someone out, I want, and then I go home, I don't want to go home on a decision that I didn't agree with or that I didn't think was the right decision. So I totally get why he's irritated with her.
Can you imagine she had some stew this episode and then just did like a 180 on like just like relaxed and like bossing it, you know, like I got the stew, I'm good. Like
he's like, sorry guys, like I'm not hungry anymore. I can act normal and be just like an amazingly kind, strategic friend on the island. That'd be really fun to see if it was just like a complete switch. Like your eyes just like lit up and just like, Okay, so who wants to talk about what I think is the most shocking blunder of the episode? When our girl Shan decides to say, we should talk as a 4 in earshot of Xander and Erica, who are sitting like literally what it looks like is like 6 feet away, like COVID distance away, is they're sitting and they can hear that they're going to go and talk separately.
But not only that, she like called them away, did she not? She like said like, let's go and talk. And
like and move them away.
Let's was it like let's us 4 or let's us 5 go? Yeah.
She said we should talk as a 4.
She even said like a number. I think it was like, it's like oh god.
I have no words. Why is she saying that? And so we know some people before, I think even you, Jojo, were saying like, oh, she was being strategic when she said that in front of Tiffany. And now she's saying this in front of Erica and Xander. I think she doesn't know when to keep it in. Jojo, what do you think?
I would like to just jump back to the last comment from Sci-Fi. I do not think it's a problem that Shan wants to control the game. I think the way that she's going about it is the problem. I don't think wanting control of the game is the problem.
Of course I'd want control of the game.
But that's what they were stating in that comment, and that is not a problem. Wanting to control the game is not a problem. The way she's going about it is the problem. To talk 4 people in front of Xander and Erica, at the same time, it's really going to make them feel crappy. Good if you want 2 people to feel crappy. Bad if you don't want Xander and Erica to target you. And I do think both of them want Shan out of the game. So,
well, and the fact that people are considering Liana to be Shan's minion, that's not good because Liana might get taken out because of this, or vice versa. Shan might be taken out, and just like to separate that too, break those 2 up. So,
like I think right now, I think right now it's like, and this is good on Shan, is that she's so bold with some of her choices and statements and movements like that. That is the move right now, is to take out a number of hers, which would be her minion, and not take out her right away because weaken her. So I mean that's great if you're in that position, because normally you want the bigger personalities as to be taken out first, as and they're your shields for everyone else who's playing a safer game. But Shan's done it in a way that people want to take out people who are with her or loyal to her, so that they could eventually get her. Again, final 8, or you're going to get to that point where it's too late and she's going to be in the end, and you're going to be like, I should have done it earlier. So I feel like that's a really big reality. And although Shan's not playing how maybe we would play, it can be very successful, and it can still get her the win. So,
and she's pretty close right now. She just kind of needs to last like 2 troubles and then use her idol, and then she's in the finale at least. So Adrian is mentioning that we do have 6 POCs in the final 8. That's pretty, like 6 out of 8. That's pretty unheard of, obviously. So that's definitely something. And I'm wondering if the final 4 will end up being the camp out, and have it be echoing what happened on Big Brother. So that would be also very interesting.
I do know we actually did have that before in season 13.
Oh, well, 6 out of 8?
Yeah. Actually, it might have even been. I'm trying to think if Alex was part of because they were originally going to divide them by like they did the season before, by race, and it was like Earl, Yauman, Stacy, Cassandra, Boo. Yeah, there was like a whole bunch of them. So, which is good.
I don't remember, but
I
this
think
is the first time I'm
Boo was
noticing
the
it.
only white person that was like left for a while. Maybe Alex was part of that.
Wow.
But
okay, I have to go
I'm
back and watch
happy.
that. That's
This is
like
good.
15
Like
years
this time
ago.
they casted it like not just going, we're gonna put them race against race. Like
Right.
at least like
it's how it's ended up, like natural selection, we'll say.
Yes.
So Jelly Donuts says, hey everyone, y'all, the tea is boiling hot today. Tea, not spoilers. Got tea? What's the tea? Tea, not spoilers. So, and Heather, Liana, Shan, and Erica are the only women cast members to have voted correctly this season so far. Interesting.
Oh, that's good.
Wow. Heather, go Heather. I mean, you gave her a 6 a couple of weeks ago, Jojo. How do you feel about your 6 and Heather? So as we're doing the rankings, and 6 is a perfect score for a perfect game. So 2 episodes ago, Jojo felt as though Heather was a 6.
I gave her a 6 out of protest because of the editing of the show, and I thought it was really insulting that Heather, has participated how many days and watches the show like everyone else and wants to see her experience. And up until the last 2.5 episodes, we haven't really seen her, so
This
she deserved that.
Her stock went up.
Heather, if Heather comes from behind, I'm going to.
I can't get behind a Heather win though. Sorry, guys, but like
Fair.
She'll get to the end. I do feel that, and she did have an improved game this episode.
I'm only sad because this season I keep thinking like maybe next week. I really want to see some like incredible gameplay from Shan, from Heather, from Erica, from Liana. I want a female winner. I want the 4 of them in the final 4. I don't care.
Yeah, but this week, because of how it was split up, I feel like was a do what you have to do to survive this.
Yeah.
And so it almost was a pause in the long-term gameplay because they're really trying to like survive this and then see how all of them together kind of work out. So next week should be fairly interesting. Yeah.
Well, I have a question though. Why can we not have a schoolyard pick? Because again, they did a rock draw to draw these 2 teams. So there's going to be 2 teams playing for immunity and reward. They're going to draw for rocks to which team they're going to be on. So I believe it was yellow and blue. And they're going to be standing on a ledge with their hands up on a post, and it's a very small ledge they're going to be standing on. And the winner of each side is going to have immunity, and then whoever lasts longest out of the 2, the blue or yellow, is going to also win some stew, chicken and beef stew. So A, do we think that this is worth playing for, stew? And B, why couldn't there be a schoolyard pick so that at least they could be strategizing, like, okay, like if we want this person out, let's have this team together and this team together. You know what I mean? As opposed to it being super random.
Yeah, I think if you're doing a schoolyard pick, you're creating a majority. So the person choosing would be hoping to choose 2 other people that they can vote with. I kind of like that it was random, to be honest.
Well, it'd be interesting because you could pick people who you think you would beat, but also, people might be offended by, if you were doing a schoolyard pick, people might be offended by you not picking them. Like, you're like, do I want to be able to beat these people, or do I want to be on a, in case I don't win, I have the numbers and these are people who would vote for me. So I think it could be really interesting having
strategy.
I didn't like the game itself because the editing, you can tell a mile away who's like what's it always is like super focused on the person who's going to win. And being like, oh, they're starting to tremble, oh, they're this, and then the person who like seemingly has it together, and they even did a little commentary with, wouldn't it be weird if like Xander just dropped out of nowhere, like, you know what I mean? And I'm like, it's so obvious, such a giveaway, not an exciting game overall. But I agree that a schoolyard pick would add elements to it to make it interesting and force people into, and they like forcing people into doing things, so forcing people into conversation or perhaps some additional drama even in regards to it afterwards.
yeah, defending, why didn't you pick me? Like, oh, I didn't pick you because I didn't want people to know that we're working together. Whatever it is, but like it could make people feel a little bit uncomfortable, unsafe, or safe when they shouldn't feel safe. Like I do think that it would offer up a little bit of perspective, whether it was intentional perspective or not. So I just think it would allow for a little bit more gameplay to happen. And I think it would make a little bit more of an interesting outcome instead of it just being like, well, these are the numbers and we're just going to get this person out. You know, it'd be more strategic. So it's funny because when they went the four, let's go talk as a four, they talk and they started bringing up that they wanted Xander and Erica to be the targets here. And Shan really wants Erica. She doesn't trust Erica. So I don't know when this has happened. When did Erica be the person Shan doesn't trust? I don't get that. Xander, I get it because he's kind of been winning quite a bit of things and he has an idol and an extra vote. So, you know, that's pretty dangerous when you're not working necessarily together. So I get Xander for sure, but Erica, where did that come from?
Well, Erica went back on her original group, you know, and her team, and the fact that probably people were talking a lot of crap about her while she was gone for a couple days. So, and Shan probably just doesn't have a feel for her yet because she was gone those initial days. So she's probably like, that's someone I'm disconnected with. Don't know what's going on with her. I want her gone.
I think also like it could be there's 6 from that tribe still at that point, and they're looking at it and going, she's probably wasn't there 6 at that point?
Sydney's gone, no?
Oh, Sydney's gone 5, but she's probably like going, well, we know that they don't like her, so maybe we push that so that we can get a number down.
For sure, and Erica doesn't seem to be doing work with getting with the right people that have some agency that can like protect her a little bit. It's like latching on to her. I mean, for this episode, it seems to work, but it's also because, spoiler alert, she won immunity. So Erica wins immunity and Xander wins immunity, the 2 people that they wanted to target. And it's going to be 2 5-person groups going to tribal, both of them. And so there's going to be 4 people that are going to be able to be possibilities for a vote. So do we like this twist? It happened recently. I can't remember, like 39, I think it happened. What do we think of it? Jojo, do you like it?
Yeah, I love it. I love small tribe. I love small tribals. I think they're incredibly exciting and dynamic. And I was really excited. Yeah. I knew going into the episode that it was a double elimination. So my heart was kind of pounding. I did have like the nervous sweats on my palms. But I was, you know what? I was really proud of Erica. I was so happy for her to get her win. I thought it was really impressive that she lasted. And yeah, I love a small tribal.
Phil, you liked it as well?
Love it. I think it gives the chance to those people that are on the outs to have a chance to get back in it, has a chance to mess up plans, make idols be forced to be played earlier than they might have wanted to. You know, not necessarily that. I mean, that didn't really happen this time. I don't think the idols didn't really get played, but I mean, in those situations, advantages in that sort of get forced. So it's nice.
It's almost like an equalizer and yet in the sense you still had the opportunity to play for your own individual safety. It's still the social aspect of the game is still there because if you're in good social standing, you will have people around you. So yet, like you said, it does give the opportunity to completely change things. So I do like it, although, you know, someone in a good position can really get screwed over by it. So.
Yeah, I think it's not fun for the player.
Yeah.
Okay, so Jelly Donuts. So regarding Liana's dislike for Xander, allegedly they were a thing in the beginning of the season. And I'm assuming something likely happened that wasn't aired that led to Liana disliking Xander. Now, I have also heard this before. What do we think about a little canoodling happening on that beach in the beginning, and then maybe he cut it off or something?
I don't understand it. These people smell. I'm like,
yeah,
I don't want to. I would be looking.
About.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to be looking at anybody in that.
For there would be, it needs to be pure pheromones, you know, just like smell the natural aroma, and if you like it, you like it. Look at Rob and Amber, right? Or Ozzy and Amanda. They didn't care. I mean, this makes sense though. I could definitely feel a woman scorned energy. That makes sense because even if I didn't really like this, but when she was out of the challenge and she was just like making fun of the way he looks and like, oh, look at his face, like I hate that face, and like kind of just like, why are you laughing, Jonathan?
Because I remembered it and I was like, there's something that you just have out for him. I mean, but he did just be like, oh, this idol? Sure, it's not real, but like, you know what I mean? Like he did just do that to her not that long ago. So it's,
and then
it's
also
like
she just
scorn.
turned on Evie and Tiffany as well.
Yeah,
so
she has to.
Yeah.
So the teams were, the yellow team was Erica, Shan, Ricard, Nasir, and Heather. And Erica won that from that group. And then the blue team was Evie, Danny, Liana, Deshawn, and Xander. Xander winning the beef and chicken stew for the tribe, or the mini tribe in the group. I thought it was funny though when Erica dropped though, she ran to Shan and she's like, I'm sorry, I couldn't stay up any longer, like for the food part. And Shan was trying to be like, it's fine, no worries, it's fine. And I was like, Shan was probably like,
that's why Shan wants to rush like out.
I'm hungry.
Out of here. Out. So they lasted only a little over 30 minutes. It was basically Deshawn versus Xander. And if I'm not mistaken, I feel like Shan was rooting for Deshawn to win there. And I'm like, showing her cards again. Like, you could vote for both of them a little bit, but like, I don't know, just making it obvious that you don't want Xander to win isn't great, in my opinion. But
yeah, I think it was in the kind of like the calling out of like who you're supporting and whatnot. You're like, good job, good, you know, that kind of stuff. It's when people do that and then they like leave that one person that they're not shouting out for. So I don't know. There's a lot of, it's Shan. Shan does that now. That's what Shan does. That's her new gameplay.
Shan's gameplay
Very
is like
open and
just telling everybody what you're doing and not caring.
There you go.
Wasn't it Liana who was like saying wasn't she saying to Evie that she hates his face?
I don't know if it was
I was like,
Evie?
why are you telling that to Evie?
I just wrote down Liana hates Xander's face. That's all I wrote down.
Yeah, it was right.
But I could see it being to Evie. So Xander wins food and immunity for that group. I felt bad for Deshawn. Like, he looked like it was painful. They both were just like, yeah, kind of give you a weird hug or whatever. But Xander wins. And so, like, that's why you can't do all this planning for just having, like, your one idea of who you want to be going home. This is the reasons. It's because they always win. So I really would think that Liana needs to get off her Xander hate. I really do think it's gonna come back to bite her. That she hasn't been able just to let that go. And it's not even at this point great game. Because like they kind of mended fences last week a little bit. And so she should have maybe gone down that route and then like blindside him. Get him to feel safe, get him to feel comfortable with you and take him out with his idol in his pocket. Like, I wish that she was doing a little bit more of that as opposed to like just telling everybody that he's her target. Because if I heard somebody like was super after me, I'd be like, I'll do everything that I can to get that person out. So, Jojo, are you going to tell me I'm wrong?
No, I'm not. I'm going to scream it. No.
Scream it.
Yeah, I wish she was playing differently too. 100%. I wish that she went to Xander and Evie and said, how about the three of us vote together and we'll take out Deshawn. He's going to beat us all at the end. Let's just do this, make it an easy vote, and then try to blindside Evie. Let's just say the results of the tribal were great for her. That's what I'll say.
Yes, definitely. Definitely. So Evie and Xander have a conversation, and Evie throws it out there that Liana and Shan are a duo, and that like Liana's Shan's minion, and like it's not great when the people on the outside are targeting you, and so especially when you have an idol. So I was getting very worried for Shan and or Liana, depending on how things were going to shake out, just because the numbers are so small. And the person that you wanted out, who also has an idol and an extra vote, won immunity. So that means that they have an idol that they're able to use. So I was like, they got to be careful here, because it could be very easy that they go home. So Danny is not really wanting to talk about the vote. He just thinks it's a simple vote. It's a simple vote. It's never a simple vote. I think that's always, I was like, oh my God, is Danny going to go? Because people say it's a simple vote and then they get voted out. And so I was like getting worried for Danny.
I was hoping Danny would go.
You
No,
were,
Danny's my
why?
last. Danny's my last person. He needs to stay.
Why
I
are
actually
you
think,
doing
not
that?
enough
I
of
think
an-
Danny's playing the worst.
I was
I'm
like, there's
like,
not enough of an
You're
edit in
so
this episode.
boring.
He is a little bit boring.
Danny and Heather, like,
Ooh.
I don't know.
What? So Jelly Donut says, ooh, I have tea on Erica and Nasir too.
They're a couple.
same
Were
type
they
of
a
tea?
couple?
They're a
What
couple.
kind of tea? Okay, Jelly Donut says Erica wasn't making super close bonds with the Luvu tribe. According to Nasir, she didn't open up to her tribe and made her difficult to approach. That's why they tried to throw the challenge. Okay.
Well,
Is that
we
tea?
all know that Heather and Erica are very close.
Wait, sorry, what? Ooh, Scissor Sisters?
Sisters, 100%. But when Erica said that during the episode, I died. I'm like, we haven't seen either of you all season, so we did not know that. But now
Wait,
we
when
know.
what'd she actually say though that they're best friends?
She said like it's
There's
everyone
two pairs
knows
here.
that we're together, that we've been playing together. I'm like, oh, okay, because assumed it, but didn't know. No.
So the yellow group goes to the old Ua beach before tribal, and over there, is that what Liana was? No, sorry, blue is where Liana was. So Liana though is also like talking too much again. So she's saying that she's threatened of Evie and Deshawn, but she's saying this to Xander, and it's like Xander is on the bottom. He's going to use anything you say against him. So don't do this. Like, just keep your. I got fooled by the edit this episode because I thought Liana was going to be done in the end. I did. I thought it was over for her. I was like, you're just making way too many mistakes and leaving yourself so wide open to be taken out. Like, so wide open. And throwing out Deshawn's name, somebody that can easily just be like, oh, I don't know you that well, so I'll flip on you. Bad. So Shan and Nasir talk, and they don't want each other to waste their idols, which is very interesting with the outcome of this episode goes. But I thought this was smart though of Shan to like be like, I'm trying to protect you, and just building that trust with Nasir. So how did you guys feel about their relationship and even that conversation? Jonathan.
I mean, they're in the same situation, I guess, and so I don't know if I thought it was authentic. I just thought it's, you're kind of butting up with someone who you have a similarity to in the game. You both have these idols, so you're just saying something to say something, and just kind of like use it to be in the same situation and put yourself together. Yeah, I didn't think much of it, to be honest with you.
I kind of felt like maybe Nasir at the beginning when they went to the beach was the swing vote between the two pairs. So I think maybe that might have been more of Shan trying to convince Nasir to go with them.
So, okay, I thought that this was another interesting part. So Nasir and Heather were kind of going at it a little bit. And Jojo, this is for you to maybe touch upon, since Heather is your last standing person on your draft. So Nasir's like, you wrote my name down, like, and is quite irritated by it. He thinks that she wrote her name down. She's like, no, I didn't write your name down. It's like, well, you started people to, like, you told people to write my name down. And she's like, no, I didn't. And then she goes like, Evie, like, did I tell you to, what did I say to you? And she's like, and Evie's like,
Told me to write Nasir.
You told me to write Nasir. And he's like, see? So
Cut to the edit of that actually happening as well.
Yeah.
She did not vote out Nasir. That is true. But she did say Nasir's name to multiple people. So, Jojo, what do you think about this? For Heather's trying to fix her past tribal blunder.
You know, I really can't defend it. But what I can say is she did own up to saying his name in the end. So she didn't vote for him. And that's cool that he thinks otherwise. But as soon as he told her that she was going home out of the 5, I knew she wasn't. Or I felt like
That's
she
true.
wasn't.
That was such an awkward moment too. I'm always like, don't ever tell somebody that they're going home
No.
unless you're like, it's just not, it's not good because
Unless you're
they're
the only
going.
vote and it's like before tribal and you're like, listen, I'm going to be taking you out tonight. I'm so sorry. Let me try and do some jury management here, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
Put a slow knife in the front, not in the back. Always in the back. Otherwise, yeah.
With him just being like sitting down with Heather and being like, yeah, sorry, it's going to be you tonight. Like, why is she going to just go quietly? I'd just be like, oh, really? It's not going to be me tonight. It is not going to be me tonight.
No.
And it did give her the fuel to kind of start something. Her and Erica were talking about, what they could do, and they figured out something, which is pretty impressive. What did you think about, though, Eric asking, was it Xander or Nasir? Nasir, if he would play his idol for Heather.
Ludicrous.
Well,
Ludicrous.
Can I just say this? Like, my thing was, if you have Nasir and there's 3 of you, why does the idol need to be played when there's 5 votes? So why couldn't you just, like, why are you asking for that of him? Why wouldn't you just ask for his vote and then just be like, the 3 of us vote one way, and you don't need the idol that way? Then you know what I mean?
They must have assumed though that a 3rd vote could be played, the extra vote. But I love that Erica asked. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with asking. Liana asked Xander if she could have
What
his
did you
idol.
think about that? I thought
Loved
that was
it.
ridiculous.
Loved it.
It's like,
yes, ask.
would you let me hold your idol? Like,
No.
just so like I'm not worried about it. Like,
Yeah, and that's
yeah,
the thing.
Liana.
Like, Liana has no agency, so for someone not like kind of just who's there to be like, but I'll feel like he doesn't need to appease you in any way right now. Like, you're not. You need to know your position and know like what the position that person you're asking is in. And it was such a weird. I mean, I don't see too much harm in asking, but at the same time, it's like such a weird thing that was never going to happen. Like,
with someone that's not your ally.
Yeah, you're not going to pull the wool over. Like, he's done it to you. You're not going to pull the wool over his eyes and run back to Shan being like, "Look what I got off of him. I'm not going to give it back to him." It's never going to happen.
Never. Let's vote him out. Like, why would he do that? It's ballsy, but it's not even ballsy with a purpose. In my opinion.
One of her little plans. I like how she is coming up with plans, and I do want one of them to work, just for her to feel better about this whole situation. And I'd kind of just love kind of something crazy happening, of course, too. But yeah, I mean, it must be so disheartening watching this from home and being like.
Okay, well, Jelly Donut says there's more tea on Liana and Xander that also involved Evie. But there's huge spoilers involved, so I won't share that.
Jelly, find me on Instagram. I want to know everything.
Jojo likes spoilers, but we don't want spoilers on here. So find him on Instagram. Joseph O'Toole. Liana turned on Yase Tribe way too soon. Yeah, she did. She didn't need to play her advantage, even though everyone knew. Absolutely. She did not need to play her advantage at all. She could have rode the middle with the camp out and the Yase Tribe. Absolutely. She was really in a very, very good position that she completely blew up and got nothing out of it. Nothing. All right. So we also see now Erica wants to flip this vote onto Nasir or maybe Shan. I was like, okay, it's getting testy. Xander, then we see him telling Deshawn that Liana threw his name out. I was like, oh my, see, this messiness is getting these people in trouble. I saw Danny give a look here though, and I was like, is Danny going to be pissed that like maybe that they're wanting to change who they're going to be voting out or keeping Xander or whatnot? Or taking out Liana. So I was worried that might cause some dissension with Danny and Deshawn, but they didn't show anything more than that look.
Yeah, it seemed like he was making a look of like, wait, are you being serious to what Deshawn was saying? Like, he was like, is this real? That's what it looked like.
But he didn't look like he was happy that it was real.
No. I mean, he was like shocked. He's like, wait a minute, what? What's happening?
So then we see Danny. He talks for the first time, I think, this episode, telling Xander that he feels that Evie is a big threat. And I'm always like, well, why are you telling like Xander that Evie's a big threat? Is he trying to get Xander to use his idol on Evie. Like, I just didn't understand that. Or maybe because he felt that he has a bond with him because Xander had given him some information a couple episodes ago. But I just didn't think that it was the right time to be telling any information about how the vote was going when it's Xander's only ally.
Yeah. I always wonder what the reality is, you know, like what is actually going on, and like were they all really never doing anything else other than Evie, and they just decided to, like, you know, see what he knew, or if that was a bad move. I don't really know.
Did they show that because that actually worked? Like, was that the reason why he didn't play the idol, was because Danny talked to him? Like,
maybe.
Wouldn't they show that though? They seem to be wanting to make Xander being like a superhero and like such a great player. They're trying to. I feel like they're giving him that.
Well, he's got that long hair. He's the Joe. He's the
Joey amazing. So Ricard wants to take out Nasir, and like watching him convince Shannon. This is Shannon's like, no, Heather. It has to be Heather. We have to break up Heather and Erica. And Nasir is, I mean, and Ricard is just like, Heather? And I'm just like, exactly. Like, Heather is not the target here. Like, clearly Evie is a way bigger threat. Or that's on their tribe, sorry, that on their group. Nasir is a way bigger threat. And it's just because Nasir provides that food that she's like, oh, I don't want him to go. Papaya. And he's just like, no. And so I wasn't sure what was going to happen when he was shutting that down. I felt that because she gave so much pushback that I thought that she was going to get her way in this situation. But Heather is just going to play dumb, and they say that they're going to be going for Nasir, and I'm pretty shocked by this being the actual plan. What do you think, Jonathan?
I just want to first say that duo of the season is Ricard and Shan. I love their energy together, their interactions.
Such a mess.
It's such a mess, and yet it works so well. And I'm obsessed. But yeah, what was your question? Am I surprised that they actually went through with it? I mean, no, I honestly didn't know what was going to happen. Like I was guessing. Like the edits could tell me kind of who's winning immunity, but outside of that, I was like, I don't know. So much going on.
Now, what I didn't understand, and I still don't understand now, is part of Ricard's convincing Shan in that moment. He was like, give me the extra vote and I'll play the extra vote. I didn't understand how they were using this extra vote in this tribal council. So the people in their group is Erica, who's safe, Shan, Ricard, Nasir, and Heather. So I didn't understand how they were using the extra vote here, because if they have to know that like Erica and Heather are probably going to listen to whatever they say, because if Heather is the other option, dead person walking. I didn't understand the extra vote though.
Go ahead, sir.
It totally made sense to me, because I think they wanted a fail-proof plan. They wanted to like make sure that they were safe no matter what. If Heather and Erica get sneaky and put Shan or Ricard, the vote is then 2-2 to 1. So it would be 2 Nasir, 2 Shan, 1 Heather. So
if Nasir played his idol,
and if he played his idol,
Heather and them, but no matter what though, they would still only have 2 votes on, like 2 votes, like from 1 vote from Shan and 1 from Ricard. I guess it's whoever Nasir was also going, I guess.
Yeah. Because they trusted Nasir to vote for Heather.
Okay, yeah. I see.
I mean, like, especially when you're on a small group like this, it's like this is when you use those things, because you can't rely on your other people that you have in your alliance who are not there. So use it now, because if you're gone tomorrow, then it's not worth it, right? So yeah, just covering themselves completely.
Shan did look like she got a little spooked when she was sitting with Erica and Heather, and Erica said, "I'm not voting for you." Like, so like it might have registered to her that it was, oh, wait a minute, maybe they're going for Ricard.
So okay, maybe
Like-
that some doubt went in there, and they just
Yeah.
wanted to have some security. I just
Yeah,
was like, I
or-
just felt that they weren't going to be that sneaky, but I can understand having the security of it.
Well, when Shan said like, or you could flip it on me and Ricard, and Heather was like, well, maybe.
Maybe.
But then why though was Ricard having to convince Shan to use the extra vote?
I don't know if he had to like convince her fully. I think that was their genuine conversation.
Well, he was like, "Are you going to do it?" And she's like, "Maybe." Is it just like part of their banter?
Yeah, I think it's just them being sour because he asked for it. She's like, I know how to play it. I can play it. I want to be the one. Like Shan has literally taken idols from people. She has taken extra votes from people. She didn't find any of this herself. I love it. I really, really, really just want the best from Shan from here on out.
She just has to just tighten it up a little bit. She's in a good spot still. I think that she still could take this home pretty easily. She just has to make the people on the outside not target her. Like the people that she's not super close with, if they target her and use an idol to flip things and make it messy, like she can just go out as a casualty of or advantage Geddon.
I think that this tribal. Oh, sorry. I think that this was the strategic tribal of the two tribals. Like this was smart. Like Nasir eventually was going to go. You got him out without his idol, like being played. Good on you. Like I think that this ended up being good, and they used that extra vote, whatever, but they still got an idol.
So we got at the Yellow Tribes or the Yellow Group's Tribal Council, we have the acting performance. Is it going to win an Emmy? Heather's acting performance this episode, with her really just like, I've been watching this show for 20 years, and she's like, cue the idol, and as she cues the idol, a cockroach falls onto Tiffany. Like this was theatrics at its finest. Jonathan, as our resident casting director, would you give any awards to the work of Heather?
You know what? I would definitely nominate Tiffany for a guest appearance in an episode. That's what I would do. Because she stole that moment. She's like,
gigantic flying cockroach on my shoulder and took the scene stealer.
Yeah, absolutely. Like Tiffany and Cockroach are the guest duo, but or whatever that was. Yeah, I mean, I actually didn't. Heather's kind of it didn't throw me off. I didn't feel like it was something that she was doing too much of, or like so cringeworthy that it was like people were like, I don't think it was over the top. Obviously, everything worked. So, yeah, I mean, it was the most I've heard from her, but for most of the season. But at the same time, she was outspoken last episode, so it didn't seem like it came out of nowhere because she did that scrambling last episode, which I think helped kind of pull it off.
So we see Nasir even talking about, how he's really loved learning from Heather. And like, I was just like, he's talking up Heather too much. Like he's going to be gone. I'm like, oh my, like, it's just, I hate seeing that because I just feel so bad for poor little Nasir, sweet angel. But it was all the theatrics of Heather really making it believable, winning that Emmy. So they go to the votes, and Nasir's eyes with how the votes went down he was just finding out in the moment that he got screwed over, and he's just looking over at Shan, and Shan just like straight ahead, not making eye contact. He handled it well, but I felt so bad for Nasir.
Well, Nasir said earlier that, I don't know if we talked about it already, but when he was like, I have the idol, I'm not going anywhere today. And I was like, ooh. Yeah. He said that earlier in the episode. And I was like, ooh.
Now, I just wonder why people haven't been playing their shots in the dark. I know he must have felt safe, but I guess they wouldn't play it with a small tribal because then you can't really tell where the numbers are if you don't get it, I guess. Okay, so let's look at this, though, now that we've lost one person here. Let's take a look at this, guys.
I was going to say that Shan's in a great position having several people who are her like number ones, and I feel like she's the only person who has that.
Yeah.
Yes, I agree. So unfortunately, Phil will be losing Nasir from the game.
But you have
Um,
Shan.
I do have
You do have
Shan.
Shan. It's a very good person to have, I would say, at this point. All right, so this is how it's looking out before we go to the second tribal. So we'll come back to there in a second. So it was 3-3, and then it was a revote, and then Nasir went out. So Shan used the extra vote, putting one vote on Heather and one vote on Nasir to make it tied. And then in the revote, they all put their votes. I'm assuming they didn't read them all, but they all put their votes on Nasir. And Nasir left and immediately goes and sits beside Tiffany in the jury, because all jury members are supposed to see all tribal councils that they weren't a part of. So he just walks over and just sits down beside Tiffany. Oh, and then the blue group, after they had their filled bellies, they go to see the tribal their tribal council, and they see Nasir sitting over the side with Tiffany and were shocked. Deshaun looked shocked. So was anybody tempted by the description that Xander gave of the stew? He felt as though Jeff undersold this stew, but that it was, the chicken and the beef and the onions, it was delicious. So was anybody's taste buds flowing there?
I just felt bad for Nasir because he hasn't had a chance to eat anything yet. And he's like sitting there hearing this wonderful description of it. So that's all I thought of it.
I didn't love that Nasir. I didn't like that Tiffany was just there at tribal. I wanted her to walk in and have her moment. She was waiting for them. Didn't love that. But I think seeing Nasir there isn't necessarily fair for the second group going in, because your mind can completely change depending on who was sitting there. If Shan was sitting there, then Liana would have lost her mind a little bit and directed a vote a different way. But I didn't care for the fact that Nasir got up and walked over. It makes sense after you said like every jury member needs to see every tribal, but
you could have
I wish that they were behind a screen or something.
Yeah, like a little box like Sandra and Rob or something.
Yeah.
Secretly.
Yeah, no, I definitely also felt as like, it's not fair that the second group gets to have information on who got voted out before they vote. It's fine like after they vote. So maybe if they had, like you're saying, just kept them hidden, and then once the votes were cast, they can come in and watch and sit and be seen for the rest of it. But yeah, I totally agree with you that the timing of that was off. But I guess it's because they were the group that really won, because then they got the stew.
Yeah.
So they got the advantage of being able to see Nasir or whomever was voted out. Maybe if they had included that in the instructions, maybe we'd be okay with it a little bit more. Just saying. So everybody in this tribe or this group were saying that they were pretty comfortable. I'm pretty comfortable. And Jeff just goes around. Evie says that she's 75% sure of what's going on. And they all are pretty comfortable. Were you surprised? I did find that what Evie was saying was really, I loved how they were phrasing it, being like, it's as if I was on a roller coaster, and like I looked at the face of death once and I made it through alive. And so I loved that her kind of bringing that description in, but it made me really worried, because it's like, can you survive twice? Phil, what do you think?
Yeah, well, I mean, she said 75, and I think the other ones were 100. Like, they even Xander, I think, was 100. He thought he knew what was going on. Yeah, I mean, I liked Evie. She grew on me. I think there's pros and cons to this vote of what happened. I understand Xander wanting to maybe keep the idol for himself, but this was a chance. This was the chance to really break it up. And I don't think Liana, even though he has issues with Liana, was the move. I think you got two guys that seem to be very close with one another, and they showed it the whole time. Get rid of one of those two guys. Preferably Danny.
Yeah. I thought keep Danny, but I thought the same thing as far as like them, this is the time to make a move, because you can keep yourself safe, and you might get to the end if you're lucky enough, but at the same time, this is the chance to like really gain that momentum and have build your resume, but also take that opportunity and then change things. So hopefully it's now in your favor next week. So you don't have the idol anymore. Yes, maybe you wouldn't have won immunity again twice in a row, but and you might go home because of it. But you need to make these big moves in if you want to win. Having said that, I always thought it was. I always play from the bottom. If I don't know why people are like, yeah, I'm secure, I know what's happening. Because if you're like, I don't know, it could be me, then at the end you can be like, I always thought I was in trouble. I look how much I had to fight to make it to the end. Not like I was safe the whole time. I knew what was happening. It's such a weird argument. That's how I play, is from like, even if you're not vulnerable, pretend like you are, so that people see more of a struggle and people vote for you because it was harder for you to get to the end than it was other people who were just always in power, But yeah, I was hoping that some crazy moves were going to happen, but
I got the vibe that Evie thought that it was going to be played, so that would have been a perfect time for her to do the shot in the dark, because the votes wouldn't have mattered against her. So she should have had that little extra thing just in case the idol didn't get played. But
Jojo,
is this a great side, Jojo? Or
I really think Xander like missed the mark here. You like keeping Evie in the game is keeping an ally. You still have an extra vote. You can go to Erica and Heather. That's 5 people. That's 5 votes at final 8. That's majority. That is your way to the end.
Yeah, I think he's more so wants to keep that idol for himself, and so he's not.
Which guarantees you 1 round of safety when this could have propelled his game further.
Absolutely, he could have taken the power. 100%
misused. He's not. I mean, Tiffany confirmed it in her exit interviews that her and Evie were really coming up with a lot of the plans, and the show has kind of shown that it's Xander doing things. So that just last night proved to me that Xander's not in the headspace that I had hoped that he could be in or was in.
Yeah, so at this point, I'm like, I really didn't feel like it was Evie's time to go. I do feel as though Evie brought a lot to the show, a nice adversary for Shan. And so I was very disappointed when the vote was actually Liana got 2 votes. So I guess a vote from Xander and Evie. Evie, unfortunately, got 3 votes and will be leaving the game. I am upset. I mean, I wanted them to go a lot further in the game, but unfortunately, it wasn't their time. Sad, sad, sad.
And so,
pretty much,
I mean, off of that, basically, that just means that Xander thought he switched one of them to Liana. Like, he must have thought that.
Yeah, I do think so.
I think that he thought it was Deshawn, because Deshawn and Evie, even Evie was saying, like, I'll never vote for you. You don't vote for me.
Yeah.
She probably was telling Xander, like, we're okay. It's probably the 3 of us voting out Liana.
Yeah. I wrote down, Deshawn said to Evie that I would never vote. I would never write down your name. I would never vote for you.
It's true.
And maybe she won't vote for him.
I think that they would.
Yeah. Oh, I think over any other female, Evie will vote for them over Deshawn. If it's the final 3.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
Give us the tea.
So Jelly Donut says also have tea on season Survivor 42 as well. Not spoilers if you want. No, we can go now because we're pretty much finished with the episode. I'm gonna see if there's any comments here that are important. Is there anything else about the episode that we didn't talk about already this evening? I find it's very hard for me to take notes because it's so all over the place. It's so messy.
I have to watch twice.
It's a little manic.
Yeah, I watched once and a half. Anything else? Did we miss anything? Also, some tea on Miss Queen Tiffany in her interview. She said Xander refused to talk to her prior to Tribal last episode. It is safe to say Xander is not doing good jury management. Yikes.
Well, clearly, like to if you're willing to like tease Liana and just, not save other people, and it's just you're just out for yourself. I mean, like, he just doesn't have the life experience, I feel like, that is needed to bring to Survivor.
How can you play this game? I mean, you all know playing these even online games. How do you play these games and just completely cut it off with somebody and then expect them to vote for you?
Yeah. No.
Like,
You
Not
have to
happening.
manage these
You have to be
these
nice.
people. You got to manage them. So timing is everything on Survivor. You don't want to vote out a meat shield too soon. Nasir was loyal to Shan. Nobody wants to go to the end with Nasir. It was a big move, not a smart one for Shan. So yeah, well, let's think about that. So do you think it was a good move for Shan to take out Nasir this round over Heather, who she wanted to get out, or do you think that this was the right move?
I didn't see Nasir as being loyal to Shan in that way. Heather's such a goat that you can drag along to the end. I would never vote out Heather. So I would, sorry, Jojo. So I would, and Shan has, like I said, other people who are legitimately like, you're my number one, Shan. So multiple. So it's like I would, Nasir, I could see turning on her, like potentially siding with other people to, gain their placement in the series. So I don't know. I think it was a good move.
Adrian says at least Liana has the balls to say it to his face, though. Savage. Yeah.
I think Nasir, going back to that thing, I think Nasir would have probably stayed true to his tribe, his original tribe. I kind of got that vibe from him because he seemed like he got really upset that Heather turned on him. Like it seemed more like he took it as a personal thing. But with Shan, like Nasir, I didn't really see him as a player that was really playing with anybody. He sort of was that character that is a character on the show and not necessarily a player. I wish he went further because he was fun to watch. But
I wish Nasir was on Amazing Race, is what I wish.
Oh
yeah, like there's a lot of skill set that he would do really well, and we'd like to watch him.
Or even Big Brother, because he'd be kind of like that silly.
I don't think he'd do well in Big Brother.
I don't think he would. Yeah, he'd be an outcast, but he'd be like silly. Like, so that'd be fun to watch.
So we never heard how your opinion of the papaya gate. So Jelly Donut's saying is still that she's still pissed at Ricard for eating the papaya. How did you feel about the papaya last week, Phil?
Well, that I mean, always on Survivor, the food is an issue. I mean, Leah and that lifesaver. But yeah, I mean, I think he could have been a little bit nicer about the whole thing.
Do you know the tea about the papaya?
No, I don't.
Didn't I tell you this? But anyways, go ahead.
You probably did. That he's allergic. That he found out that he's allergic.
Oh.
Yeah, and he never had it before.
Yeah, we're talking.
Did he have a reaction on the island?
Yes,
I believe so. Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Serves
him right.
Yeah, a little bit. Serve him right.
Learned.
Now I remember.
Adrian to you says, Jojo, she didn't take it. People like JD gave it to her. It's true. It's true.
She took it.
I agree with you, Jelly Jonah. I would have screamed bloody murder if a cockroach landed on me. I probably told this story before, but when I was like 8 years old, I was in Jamaica visiting my family, and I was outside waiting for my cousin to come home from work, and a flying cockroach landed on my neck. Okay, like these things are like this big, and I'm screaming like, ah! And like it went down my shirt, and I'm like screaming, ah! Ah! And like I'm just like freaking out. And while I'm freaking out, my cousin comes home and just goes and she just steps on it and squishes it. And just like walks in the house. I was like, ah! So then the next morning, like we had chickens in the back, and like we see like the ants, the ants were like the ants and the chickens were all like carrying and like eating this cockroach thing. It was like so gross. But seeing the ants carry the cockroach, like it was like a presentation of like.
Yeah.
Cleopatra.
Exactly. It was like the ants are marching one by one, hurrah! And they're just carrying, and then the chickens are. It was so gross and weird. I was like, I can never eat chicken again, and I'm never touching a cockroach again. They're so gross looking.
Jeff keeps saying to drop the 1 for 41, but I want him. No, he's saying to drop the. I screwed that up.
Drop the 4, add the 1.
Yeah, I want him to drop the 1 and just leave the 4. Like as Survivor, season 4.
I think they can only say that if they are willing to change the challenges, because the challenges have been exactly the same. Like, if you're going to change the game, let's change the challenges a little.
Very fair.
Watch another Survivor. They do better challenges.
Okay, hold on. Let's see. Is this the tea that we got going on here? Okay. Chantele Jonas says, "Oh wait, sorry, that's here." I was disgusted when Xander burped in the camera. That was pretty.
Okay, but we're in the industry, so we know this. That was ADR. That was not him. Like he had a little something going on, but that was added after the fact. That wasn't real.
Okay, so Evie's final words were very inspiring. I love them. I love them too. Okay, so what's the tea? Okay, and okay, so Tori from Sequester is on Survivor 42. Who's Tori? Hold on, Tori. Oh,
who is Tori from Sequester? I don't know.
So Tori,
brunette,
her dream has always been to be on Survivor. She talked about it on Sequester.
What season?
She was season 2, or I think she was season 2 or 3. 2. Brown hair, very beautiful.
I liked
really
her. Yeah.
gamer.
And then she messed up her game, but I liked her. Here you go.
Really strategic. Loved her.
I have a terrible memory. I have no idea who she is, and I've watched Sequester.
She kind of got to the end, but she messed up. I can't remember exactly how she messed up, but she was doing really well, and I was rooting for her. She was hanging out with Cameron, right? Was it?
Yeah.
What was her name?
Yeah. And Tori was the target, like very early on, round after round after round after, and kept saving herself. So in, what's the phrase that I'm looking for? When fighting for survival, I'm sure Tori can do that.
I'm very excited to see that because I enjoyed her on Sequester, and I love anybody that's a reality TV fan getting on their opportunity to play something that they're very excited about. So I will be rooting for her 1,000,000%. Adrian says, I just watched this year Evie's Ponderosas right before this, and I slightly heard from Evie that Shan is basically Boston Rob's body in her. Really? I don't know. I don't think she's playing a Boston Rob game. Boston Rob's not really that emotional, I don't find.
She's playing a Shan game, okay? It's the wrong game.
That's fair. Yes, she's playing a Shan game.
Before. This is a new game.
Adrian says, ooh, got some not good tea on her as well. Oh, what did she do? Do you know what this not so good tea is, Jojo?
I think her dad's an anti-vax doctor, and she's very religious.
Who are we saying?
Tori.
Oh.
She's very religious.
Oh boy.
So that might be a little,
yeah. So it involves anti-vax use on Facebook. Gotcha. Ooh, awkward.
Though she's vaccinated, like to do Survivor, you have to be. So who knows how much that is true?
Do we not have all like anti-vaxxers in our family? I do. There's nothing.
I do.
There's nothing to do with me. So
it's been a nightmare. To be fair, like you don't even know what I've been through. Oh my god, I've been crying so much over it. Anyways, okay, so some 42 players have played some Oars as well, and so hopefully we'll have some good gameplay for 42. We'll have some pissed people if they keep these twists like they're doing them, because if they're game players, they want things to be fair. So they might be very upset by some of these flippity flip twisties.
There's 3 or 4 Canadians on 42 too.
Oh wow!
Are they all named Chantele?
No, but there's actually
there's a Chantele F. Yeah.
I'm trying to. One of the girls from Montreal, I think her name's very similar.
Yeah.
If her name's Renee, my middle name's Renee. Like, get out of here. Okay, so Jeff also said not publicly that he loved the gameplay on Survivor 42. Not sure whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, considering what Jeff likes in a player. Well, okay, that's something that we didn't talk about. So they were talking about everybody knows that I have an idol, and Jeff's like, oh, like why do people know that you have like an idol? Like how do people know that? And they're just like, because you forced us to say a stupid line on a mat in front of everybody in the game. Like, what?
I would have been like, excuse me, aren't you a producer on the show? You know this. You know why, Jeff.
Because of you, Jeff.
Because of you. Because of you. I was so irritated because, like, did he forget? Or did you think that?
I know what I wanted to ask. Do we think that there could be a possibility that there's idols in the forest right now?
No, I don't think there's any idols right now. There's too many in the game still. There's still 2 in the game, 2 advantages or 1 advantage.
The merge, like usually they put something out there.
Well, there haven't been any like rewards really where they got to like find something. So
well, now that one went home.
Yeah, maybe one will be reintroduced. And they'll have to say another silly thing to get it activated, maybe. So Jelly Jonah thinks that 42 has a Chanel. Is that the name you're talking about,
I think
Jojo?
so, yeah.
I think so, yeah.
Very funny.
I'm serious.
Very funny. Well, it's kind of like with
She's an
Cheesecake, where there
astrology
was
lover.
a Chanel.
Just kidding.
She
I'm
lived
dying
in
to
like
know
my apartment when I lived in Montreal. Like, hilarious. Jojo, are you okay, Jojo?
Can you see me?
No.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to look up the cast.
Oh, okay, no problem. I was just like,
on my
what
phone.
happened? What happened to you? Are you
I'm
okay?
here.
We can hear you though.
Okay, good.
Dre has a huge social media following because of her fitness. Who's Dre? I don't know who Dre is.
Dre. She's Canadian.
She's the
Two
most,
Ontarians.
Yeah, Omar's from Guelph. And Marianne, I think, is Toronto. I think.
Wow.
Hamilton.
Oh, Hamilton. That's right. Yeah.
Is Dre from Big Brother? That'd be fun.
No, I wish. She's beautiful though.
Oh my God, she keeps missing my other T comment. Where is it? Where is it, Jelly? Is it not showing it? I don't see it. I see I think 42 has a Chanel. Then
Put it
next
like 5
is oh my
times in a
God.
row.
So
Spam
maybe if you swear, maybe it doesn't let you see it. Spam it. See, yeah, I'm gonna go in the order that I've seen them. So the anti-vaxxer stuff. I mean, maybe we're not allowed to say that. Sorry. Then this, so the Jeff one, and then the Chanel.
Yeah.
And then oh my God.
Yeah.
And then that's probably why. Okay, so have you posted it again? Put spaces between the controversial word.
Do it.
Okay, finally, here y'all seeing the Survivor 42 logo. Not to be mean, but it's trash. Also, the cringy idol phrases are returning as well as the shit. I guess that's the word that she couldn't say. Merge twist and the do or die twist. I don't know if you saw this. Okay, no, I didn't see this. So I think it's because you said the word shit. It flagged you for inappropriate language. So everything's coming back. That's so annoying. So I've not seen the logo though. What did the logo look like?
Stupid.
Well, I mean, this one's great.
I actually love this logo. I love the colors. Yeah, I think it's pretty.
Let me see what
I mean,
the
it's
logo
not my favorite,
looks like.
but the new one's
Survivor
bad.
42 logo.
Considering how well Big Brother did with theirs this year, with the neon and stuff, I'm like, this doesn't match up. It's not anywhere near.
Well, it's going to be annoying because it's a lock and a key and a maze. I mean, I wouldn't mind having people run through a maze, like a labyrinth.
Oh, bring a maze back. That'd be good.
Like if I was on an online reality game and that they did that, I'd be like, oh, impressed, but not for a big, what are we on, CBS show or whatever? No, thank you.
No worries, Jelly. I knew that you must have, like, I wasn't able to say in a comment once. It wasn't on this, it was on an app, but I was just talking about a song called what is it called? It's by Usher. It's like orgasm or something, like a word like that. What was it called? I forget. And they wouldn't let me say that comment, and I was just commenting the name of the song. Anyway, so they get these flaggers are really, really touchy. Very touchy. But it's all good for me. The 42 logo looks like a poster for the Netflix show Lock and Key. It does, but I like the idea of a labyrinth. So
I work on Lock and Key, so it'd be nice.
Oh shoot. That's true. That is true. Is there labyrinths in the next season, Jonathan? I used to get flagged under entertainment all the time. Is it for swearing? We don't see it though at all. It just doesn't show it. When I log off, I'll be able to see, like, should I allow this comment to be seen? But I won't see it in the moment. I love Lock and Key. Excited for season 3. Yay.
I'll wear my Lock and Key jacket that I have.
Ooh. Well, honestly, that was great, guys. Thank you so much for the tea, Jelly Donuts, and Adrian, and everybody else that's here in the chat, especially those visiting us for the first time. We love it. Thank you guys for hanging out with me and indulging on my obsession with talking about these TV shows every single week. So,
We didn't see the little chart removing.
right. Sorry.
It wasn't my person, so I wanted to celebrate it. Do you have it? There we go.
Oh, Chantel's in the lead. All three.
Jojo's finally taking a beating. Yes.
But
yes.
Heather's making it to the end.
Heather.
Heather's making it to the end.
I know, probably.
We'll see.
I don't know if I have the winner. Deshawn is who I'd have the strongest hopes for winning. I don't feel like Erica will be able to do it unless she's able to get out Deshawn and Shan. And yeah, Deshawn and Shan, and then she'd have a shot. But I don't know if she has the social capital right now to be able to win. Xander, I think his shot of winning was if he had used his idol on Evie this episode and build those numbers like you guys already mentioned. So I don't really see him winning. I don't see people giving him the win or the money. So Deshawn's really the only person on my team that I feel really has a fighting chance at winning. But everybody else that's in the first spot there, though, I think they're all good contenders. I do think Ricard is a contender for the win.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really think that Heather is a contender to win, but she will be in contention for winning. Definitely Shan. We know that she's the front runner right now. Danny could pull it through a win depending on who's he's sitting beside. And if he makes like a move, gets out to Sean, gets out Shan or something, turns on somebody, possible. Obviously I already talked about Deshawn. So yeah, I think everybody has the front runners. So we picked really well, I think.
Yeah.
Thought we did a good job.
Yeah.
Okay, is that good, Jonathan?
That's it. I'm happy. I'm happy with it. Thank you very much.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Well, thanks again, everybody. Please subscribe to Reality Realness with 3 S's if you haven't done so already. And if you're watching this after, what are you putting on a buff on?
I'm watching.
Yes, Phil.
I was watching you.
Oh, Jojo. Changing? I didn't even notice that. That's so like a Big Brother challenge where you like change your clothes.
I feel
and
left out. I don't even own one. Can you believe it?
I did own one, but Nick has it, so I don't have it anymore.
I think if Jonathan wins, we should buy him a buff.
I would love to.
He's not gonna win.
Love it. Love it. And we'll all pitch in and we'll buy you the best buff ever. We don't have to do that.
Come on, Danny. Come on, Danny.
So in the comments, will you let us know if you think that Xander has a shot at winning this game? What would Xander's route be from this point forward to potentially winning the season? And if you have any tea, but not spoiler-free tea, please let us know. Thank you again, everybody in the chat. We love you, and we'll see you next week. Bye, y'all.